All right, welcome back to TCI headquarters. Time for another prediction preview video. After the last couple of weeks, I'm just not real happy with my predictions. I don't think any of us were with the predictions Saturday, so we're going to give it a go here. Obviously, after the last 2 weeks, it makes things a little more difficult, kind of trying to figure out what the heck's going to happen on the field Saturday at 3:30 in Death Valley. Davis, keys to the game. Last week we talked about stopping the run and winning up front, and one team did that, and it was not Clemson.
Yeah, that's. I think that's sort of been. I know the offense has had its issues and is in a funk right now, but I think if you're Clemson and Clemson fan, I think the biggest disappointment this year has just been the play of that defense, in particular that front seven. I mean, they just have not lived up to the hype and what they were touted to be. Coming into the preseason with all that high, obviously you got a bunch of next level talent up there and experience in addition to that. So, I mean, they stopped the run, and that's going to be a lot easier said than done with Malik Cunningham coming in here. The quarterback for Louisville, who really, shredded Clemson last year. I mean, he was the whole reason that Louisville was in that game, and and it's going to be a totally different deal because where Notre Dame just lined it up, ran it right down your throat through the A and B gap. This is going to be more of the zone read, RPO stuff, and Wes Goodwin talked earlier this week about we got to defend it differently. We might even have to drop an extra end or a linebacker on the edge to sort of try to contain that because if he gets loose the way he did last year, I think it's going to be another long day for that Clemson defense.
Let me ask you this, Davis. Yep. We heard earlier this week that a big part of the problem with the run game was the way the guys lined up pre-snap.
Yeah.
They can fix that now.
Yeah.
Should we not have been able to see that during the game and maybe address that with the players and said, "Hey, you're lined up wrong. Let's don't do it the second series or the 8th series of the game."
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think some of that. So I think some of that too is because Wes and some of these players have been talking about this for almost a month now. Missed tackles, run fits, misfits. I think some of that is because he's not going to come out and just say we're not playing well enough. Our player, these guys, we're not getting the job done physically up front. And I mean that the Notre Dame game is obviously the biggest indictment of that. When Notre Dame, which has been a one-dimensional offense all year, playing with the backup quarterback.
Wonder what they're going to do in the wind.
In the wind, and you can't stop them at all. So. It's a major issue right now, and you said me, myself, a lot of other reporters on this beat sitting there, peppering them with questions like, well, what's the fix at this point? And they all sort of look at you and deer in headlights almost, like they don't have answers to what's going on. So, it's up to them. They get paid a lot of money to figure this stuff out, and they better do it pretty quickly.
They have not earned their money this year. No. I will go out on a limb and say that. All right, I'm going to flip it on the other side of the ball. Huge key this week is what in the world? It's like, where's Waldo? What are we going to see at quarterback?
Yeah.
Are we going to see DJ start, DJ play the whole game, Cade get in for 2 plays? Are we going to see the staff go in with a plan of we're going to play them both, and here's how it's going to go. This player gets these series. This player going into the game we know is getting these series. Yeah. Is it going to be based on how the game feels going? What DJ are we going to see? Are we going to see the one we saw the first 7 games of the season? Or are we going to see the one we saw the last 2 games, which was just, bad turnovers 2 weeks ago. Last week, a big 0 on the board when he comes out of the game. And they make the switch to Cade. When they do go to Cade, if they go to Cade, what are we going to see from Cade? Are we going to see him just, oh, gosh, he was in for 2 plays, didn't do the right thing, so we're pulling him out? Are we going to see Cade get a couple series so we can judge things? What I want to know before the season is over is, does Clemson have a quarterback on the roster that can lead Clemson to an undefeated season, which obviously is not going to happen this year, but I'm looking ahead to next year. Do we have the quarterback on the roster that can lead Clemson to an undefeated season, go to the college football playoff, and win a playoff game? Don't just make the playoff because you won the ACC, but actually have a team that can go compete with Georgia, compete with Ohio State, compete with Tennessee. I don't know that DJ is that answer. Maybe if he continues to get better from the first 7-game DJ, maybe he can be. I don't have a clue if Cade's that answer because we haven't seen enough of him.
Exactly.
So whatever they do, I'd like to see that play out over the next 4 weeks. We know we got 4 more games. Mm-hmm. I have no idea if we're actually going to see that, but my key to the game is we need daggone better play at the quarterback, whether it's DJ, whether it's Cade. As you mentioned, Louisville's got a good offense. The way the defense is playing, Louisville's probably going to score some points.
Yes.
If you're Clemson and you want to win the division, not have tie, obviously we know they're already in the ACC championship, but they've been talking all week about we want to go win the division. Well, they've already won the division, but that's a coach speak thing that's trying to get them to fire it up to go play this week. Yeah. Offense has got to play better, and that's got to start at the quarterback.
That's no big breaking news there.
Breaking news. Newsflash. Let's get the little ticker going.
Yeah, and it is crazy now that just how this season started with the offense being so much better and then this thing just blowing up the last couple of games. Now you sit here and wonder, okay, Clemson's defense is going to give up some points. Can the offense score enough to win the game? That's the biggest question going into this game. And if they're -5 in the turnover, I don't think that's being made are being talked about enough. I know a lot of the focus is just on the quarterback play and just DJ with the inaccuracy and things like that. That's sort of dominated the conversation. But -5 turnover margin in the last 2 games. You're not going to beat anybody doing that. So, obviously you got to be a lot better than what they've been at the most important position on the field.
Now for the fun part. Yeah. We're going to tell you what the score is going to be this week. We got everything all figured out. We know exactly how it's going to play out.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Davis, what's your crack at a score?
Well, I think what we've been talking about in this whole video is sort of a roundabout way of saying I have no idea what to expect from Clemson on Saturday. Okay. I have no idea.
Check out our coverage this weekend.
But so I just going back to what I just hit on though, because one thing too, this Louisville defense, haven't talked about them a whole lot yet. Mm-hmm. Top 15 in the country in sacks and tackles for loss. They are a disruptive group up front. With quarterback play already, the confidence already a little shaky. They generate some pressure and are able to force this Clemson offense into more mistakes. That's obviously going to be a problem. I'm gonna be honest. I think Louisville wins this game. I just don't trust this. This Clemson
what
offense.
did you say? Did you say Louisville wins this game?
Yes.
Wow.
I think Louisville. I just don't trust this Clemson offense right now. I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points. I think they hold Louisville around in the early or the low 20s, but I don't know how you can watch this Clemson offense the last few games and think that they're going to suddenly try to figure it out. So I think it's going to be 21-17 Louisville.
Ooh, Robert would not be happy. Well, as one of the co-coordinators on offense said earlier this week, it's not like we're 3-8. It's not like we're fighting to go to the Tangerine Bowl. We've lost 1 game. We're not 5-3. Well, I can promise you, if we're got 2 losses after Saturday, and Davis is right, fans aren't going to be happy because that is not the standard that we have become to expect, and that is not the standard that this coaching staff has paid out the wazoo to deliver, and it's just not the standard that should be happening right now. Whew, Davis going. My predictions, if you followed them the last 2 weeks, have just been spot on.
Well, all of ours are, right?
So, went big win 2 weeks ago, smaller win last week. The defense, as bad as they played, they only gave up 1 touchdown last week. The other 3 touchdowns were on the special teams and the quarterbacks. I'm going to go in a different direction just because this game is in Death Valley. Death Valley helps this team. Yeah. It has, not just on this 38-game win streak. It's always helped Clemson when they play at home, when the fans are there. I think that's going to help the defense play better. I think this team is just hearing it all week long about how terrible they played and all of that stuff. I'm going to go with the fact that that's going to get them to play better. Will it? Who knows? Certainly didn't help Saturday night. Coaching didn't help make adjustments. But I'm going to say that we're going to get better quarterback play. I got no idea which quarterback that's going to be, but it cannot be as bad. It certainly cannot be as bad as it was the last 2 weeks. So it's got to get better. I'm not going to, for you guys know, for me, this is a very low score. I'm going to predict that Clemson finds a way to 24 points and that the defense plays well enough to give up 17 points. So I'm going to go Clemson 24, Syracuse
Man,
17.
Syracuse.
Louisville 17.
That is low for
And, that's for me, that's very, very low if you guys follow my stuff. But I've been, I've touched that hot stove too many times. My hand has blisters all over it. So I'm going to go lower. And this will be the week where Clemson comes out and scores 45 points. And but I'd love to be wrong in that category. But we're going to have it all covered for you all week long. A lot of reasons to tune in, a lot of reasons to check out the coverage, a lot of reasons to watch Saturday's game. You might see a great quarterback play. You might see it from DJ. You might see it from Cade. You might see two quarterbacks not playing well. Nobody knows, but we'll get some excitement one way or another. Plenty to talk about. We'll have everything covered for you all weekend long.
This is Miles Murphy. Make sure to check out Clemson Insider's most complete football coverage. Nobody does it better.